Oh, November. Just such a grey and gloomy month. All the colours are gone from the trees. Like there's one orange leaf left. Who left this here? Oh, what's a cat? Whoa! Where on earth did that heron come from? Jack. Oh yes. You want to take my property? I am, if you let me take my time. That's right. Another Temu haul, only this time I asked you guys for your suggestions on social media. So most of what I've got here is from your suggestion and or top rated items from Temu. So everything we've got in here is going to get me fishing once again, only this time we're not going for carp.
Shut the front door.
As instead, we're going to be going for anything that wants to take a lure or a jig or something like that. So perch, pike, whatever wants to come along. So for those of you watching abroad, maybe from America, perch are basically our equivalent of your bass. So that's what we're going to be going for in this video. But before we get into it, grab your phone, open up Temu and type in my code DUY3324. Hit search and there you go, £100 worth of coupons entered in. Back to the video. And of course, we're going to need a rod and reel. And this, at the point of purchasing, was the cheapest complete setup for going for pike and perch and things like that was available at the time. I think it was around the £44 mark. I will be flashing the prices up as we go through this. And this is going to be everything I'm going to need to start fishing. Of course, I've got some more bits in there. So let's see what came in this pack. Oops, to start with, we have a rod. Now remember this being white from the image, so I'm guessing it's still white as it's arrived. And it is indeed. Now it is super, super light, which is perfect for when you're fishing for pike and perch. You don't want to be weighed down because often you're traveling a long distance, so it's really lightweight, but plenty of poke in that to pay decent pike, I reckon, but also light enough that when I'm playing perch, hopefully I should still enjoy the fight as well. So super lightweight, plenty of backbone in that. And along with that, we have the reel to go with it. Now this is a HJB2000, so it's a tiny little reel as you can see, but perfectly matches up with this little light action rod. So we've got a really light setup, and that's ideal for fishing for some of the things I'm going to be going for, whether it be small perch or some pike. That should be absolutely plenty, and it feels pretty solidly built, so I'm quite happy that will be up to the task of catching the fish that I'm going to be after. Now of course, along with that, I think there's something else to come out. There it is. In here is a little assortment of loads of different bits and pieces to hopefully catch some of those perch and pike and things. So we've got some little jigs, we've got some swivels, a whole assortment of different size hooks, and a little float as well, and some little rubber jigs, a silvery one, a light green one, and a dark green one. So that is enough to get me going, and of course you're going to need line for that. So they've sent out in this complete kit 0.23mm 14.5 pound breaking strain mono. Now of course, fishing for pike and perch, I'm going to need some heavier line for like braid and traces so that they don't bite through it if I do hook into a pike, but that is the essentials bought straight away. So that would be enough to get me fishing, but of course I'm going to need some other things, which is what is in this bag. So to start with, we've got a fold out net, which from memory I deliberately went for this one because it was a rubber mesh, which it is perfect for when you're fishing for pike and things, because if the hooks get caught in there, there's no risk of them getting stuck, because trying to get hooks out of a typical sort of mesh that isn't rubber, that's a really weird way of saying it, can be quite difficult. Now this looks like quite a small landing net. I don't know if it's any bigger than that. No, I think that is the full size. So fold out. It's nice and small and collapsible. So it's a small net. That's going to be perfect for perch. Does it go any bigger than that? I don't think it does. Let's loosen that off once more. That is as big as this handle goes. So smaller net than I thought, but for little canals and things, it's got some little foamy bits on the side. Hopefully that floats. That is ideal for perch, because with a little rod, because it's only a little rod, I haven't got as much reach to net something. So that should do the job for the perch and things, but I have got a spare net in case that's too small if I do catch some pike, because that may be an issue. Also got some braid. This is just some Situation Extreme braid, and then a bit of Chinese I can't read, very low water absorption, but from memory this was something like £40, I'll be at £60 breaking strain, a 0.36, so that's going to be the main line I'm going to put on the reel, and then on from that I'm going to put some lighter braid for if I'm going for the perch, and if I'm going to go for the pike, I'll probably fish that straight through to a trace. But I've then also got some more braid, which is £12 breaking strain. It's This is much thinner, it's 0.12 millimeters, so that's ideal for when I'm going for the perch. It's still all the non-stretch that braid offers, but is a lot lighter action for when I'm actually trying to play perch. Then we move on to the next item. So if I'm going to catch some pike, of course I've got the net to get some perch. I think I am going to have to get a different net to land the pike in, but then to deal with them on the bank, of course you don't really want to be lying them straight on the ground, and unhooking mat. That's a good length for the pike, so ideal because they're long and thin fish. That should be absolutely perfect to deal with the fish on the bank. Now in that bag was a couple of other little items, a pair of scissors and a puller tool with a load of different bait needles and things. I don't actually remember ordering that, but I think this was a complete kit. In fact it was, because it's in one little sealed unit. Scissors and bait needles and things all in this little set. And then we move down here. I've got a bag, so everything that I've got for this trip should fit into this bag. It's a nice little roving setup. Oh yeah, I forgot, it's like a, you wear this one and you put all your different bits and pieces in it. So when I'm traveling around, all the essentials. I know this is going to be perfect for lure fishing, like traveling light, got everything I need in here, but you put this on and I just instantly feel like a job's worth bailiff. Can I see your license please? You're too far from your rods. I've got a terrible home life, so I'm going to take it out on you. Ugh, yeah, I don't like what it's doing to me. Yeah, that's strange. We'll be on here, as you can see, there's a little pocket for phone and things, tackle boxes, lures. That looks like a lot of tassels. I think I'm going to have to kit this out between now and actually going fishing, because we've run out of daylight. I'm not going to be fishing today, but I will be very, very soon. Yeah, ideal. So a nice little waistcoaty type thing. All of the bits and pieces that I'm going to need on my trip. Pop that down there. Now moving in here, I'm going to leave one of the items to the end. I've also got discouragement, 2 different sizes for when I'm fishing for the perch. I need something like that to manage to unhook them. In here there should be little fake worms. So perfect for going for perch, hopefully. They might actually be quite good for sea fishing as well, trying to go for different things. But rubberized worms, they look like they could work quite well. And then I've got loads and loads and loads of lures, which I'll go into in a second, but I've also got some forceps. Now when you're fishing for pike, you don't really want to be sticking your hand down their mouth to get them hooks out, so perfect long nose pliers like these are how you can get into the hooks if they've gone down a bit deeper. Really robust, solid set there. So I've got these. I have also got some other tools like this, so when I go for the pike I do have some other items I've already got for fish safety aspect and things, but that is pretty much all you're going to need to get hooks out of a pike's mouth. They've got a nice little bent end as well to make it a bit easier to get them out, so that is ideal. Then I got loads and loads and loads of lures from the same window, I'd say. So these were different variations on the same thing you could buy, and they're all the same size, all the same sort of way they work, but they're different patterns and colours, and they basically look like a little pike. So you've got some, they've got the colorations of a roach, some that are more of a fluorescent camo type colour, maybe like a musky, I think they're called, brown trout sort of colours. So they all look the same as a fish, but there's one, I think this one looks like a mini pike, and pike are, well, obviously they eat other fish that swim around, but they eat their own kind as well, so that could be really good for where I'm planning on fishing. Really bright coloured ones. I'm not done, I got some more. I can't remember exactly how many it was I got, although I got every different variation of the lures on that one little setup. It's worth noting as well that all the things I bought here are in the description below. You can check out everything I bought. Of course, you've got the coupon code as well, which will be flashing up on the screen. So all of these things you can buy yourself. Now the last thing I bought, something a bit different, and I'm gonna have to try this at home to make sure it all works before I give it a try. Underwater camera. It's got 30 meters range, a 4.3 inch screen. So let's quickly open this up and see what we've actually got in here. A manual. We've got the camera with a little float on it, and I think a little mount so I can sink it perhaps. Not really sure. Be interesting to see how this works. But yeah, there's the camera with a little bubble float, so that should land on the bottom with that float facing up. And then we've got a little mount here, which I need to have a look at all of the details. But then also this little screen, so once that's in the water I can watch live what's going on through this screen. So this can be really cool, especially when fishing on like a canal or something where I want to see what the fish are doing underneath. I've got a little monitor there with that clip which can then attach to a bank stick or a chair, or whatever I want it to fit to, like so. Have that on the outside and I can watch what's going on live through here. So that is really cool. And yeah, you've got a line out, power supply. We'll have to have a proper look into this. But I'm hoping that this works well, because that could be really cool. And that is everything I bought. So maybe not as much as I've done in previous ones, maybe nothing that's going to be a bit silly like in previous ones, which if you haven't seen, do go back and watch them. They were great fun filming, you guys seem to enjoy them. But this one is just going for something a little bit different. Hopefully I can pop those windows back down. We can. We'll put that away, tidy all this up. It's going to be dark in about 20 minutes, so I'm not fishing today. But next time you see me, we will be out with all of this, all kitted up, ready to go, and hopefully we'll catch some lovely fish along the way. Well, today is fishing day and I'm super excited for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, I've already seen a pike top about 30 yards to my left, so that bodes well for the day.
You sure
Secondly,
about that?
I get to test all of this kit, which is always good fun as well. But thirdly, it's the first time I've gone pike fishing in years, so I'm super excited to hopefully get my hands on some pike once again. Now, you've already seen all this kit in the unboxing, but just to show you how I've got it all set up for the day. Net and unhooking mat, you've already seen, but I am going to take one of my carp nets just because I need the longer reach handle and a bigger mesh for trying to net some of the fish on these banks. They're quite steep in places, quite difficult to net. With that, I'd just be falling in. So I'm going to take that for fish safety reasons. The rod and reel combo is what you've already seen, but I've spooled up the reel with the heavy duty braid that I've got. But if I want to go for perch, all I've got to do is loop to loop on some little drop shot rigs I've got with the light action mono or the lighter braid as well. But I've got this set up for pike at the moment, so it goes down to a wire trace so I don't get bit through. And the lure I've chosen, obviously they're all the same shape and style in how they swim, but they've just got different colouring patterns on. And this one is the closest I could get to a roach or rudd, something like that. Got quite nice orange tail and things, so it should be a flash of colour, but it's quite a natural looking fish for these waters. I've done quite well on roach lookalike lures around here before as well, so hopefully that does the job. But lastly, this vest jacket thing I absolutely love, because everything I need to fish today is within this. If it wasn't for the fact I'm lugging camera kit around, this is all I'm going to need for the day. So you can travel super light and all the replacements are within this jacket. So I'll quickly run through the setup I've got. Empty pocket here, but I could put stuff in there if I wanted to. Front left, I've got my scissors, hooks, bits of terminal and stuff like that in there. And then the one behind that, huge pocket, and this has got my spare wire traces and a couple of extra lures as well. Right side, they just replicate the same pockets, but on this side, I've got those rubber worms, so if I do try and go for the perch later on. And then behind that, another big old pocket, which has got all the different lures in. So I'm keeping them in the packets, because obviously if they were loose in there, they start to get hooked into the pockets, but that should be absolutely fine. To the right, I've got my disgorgers, little bits more of terminal tackle and things, and there's loops everywhere, so you can attach things like I have here with my Polaroid glasses, which I'll just pop off. There's loops everywhere, so you can attach as much accessories to this as you want. There's a couple more pockets here, which I haven't talked about, so if you want to take as much as you want within reason on this, you can do. And on the inside, big old mesh pockets as well. I've got my disgorger or sort of forcep things and some wire cutters. Hope to never need them, but they're there in case. Everything I need fish safety wise and to get myself fishing is within this. But of course, before we carry on, I did get an underwater camera as well, and this seems like as good a place as any to give that a test. So just a little reminder of the camera I'm about to be dropping in. This thing is tiny, it's really lightweight as well. We've got a little blue foam float which keeps it up the right direction. That should sink down and sit pretty much as it is, like so. Then we've got stacks and stacks of cable, so even if I was fishing somewhere much further away than what I am today, I'd still be able to have this on the deck and watch. So it could be quite cool to watch some live takes underwater when you're carp fishing or something down a margin, who knows. So maybe that's something I do in the future. That all links up to this monitor, which has a sun visor, fold out sun visor. Camera plugs into this. This has a power capacity within it, but you can also plug the power pack into it to keep it going for longer. And on the back there is a little mount, so you can attach that to a landing net pole, a fence pole, anything like that. For today I'm just going to hold on to this, attach the camera, lower it down, see what we can see, and maybe if we can we'll give it a test to see how these lures swim through the water through this. I'm probably not going to keep this with me for the rest of the day because I want to travel as light as possible. I've got enough camera kit to lug around with me that I don't want to be taking this around. But let's just see how it performs and if it's any good. Now it's worth noting this is a 480p camera, so it's not going to be the HD you're watching this video on. I'll just spin my phone camera around and show you. That is what I'm seeing. So it's, it looks like a little robot going around with those little arms on the front. Not exactly sure what they're for. Maybe they're a weight system or pulley system so you can slide the camera up and down. I'm not sure. But we're going to lower this down into the water and see what we can find. And it's quite hard to see. So what I'm going to do, oh, there we are. We'll get into the waterbed. I'm going to flick the infrared on, which is this one. There we are. So we can now see it in infrared. But I'm not going to lie, the water clarity here isn't brilliant, this terrain. So it is clear, you can see what it's doing. Let's see if I can get the camera set up in a better position. I'll tell you what's quite interesting, there are stacks of snails down there. As you can see, if I just move it around slowly, everywhere this thing lands, it's hitting snails. I've just moved to the other side, where the sunlight's coming from, it's a lot clearer. So I'm just going to drop the lure in front of it, see if I can get some kind of motion in front of the camera, because it looks quite cool now. I mean, that is my lure. It doesn't look amazing because I'm in a weed, but you can see underwater. Oh, I've got the camera. Underwater camera ticked off. Time to tick the rod and reel off as well. Well, it doesn't exactly cast straight, it spins a bit, but it gets to where it needs to go for this sort of distance fishing. And the actual look of it in the water is really cool. It definitely looks like an injured fish. That orange on the tail, that roach pattern, gives it that flash of colour. But when I twitch it like this, it's all up, spins, so it really does look like an injured fish. Looking at it in the margin here, it looks so cool. All I need there is for a pike to turn up. Of which I've not had so much as a knock yet, but I've only done about 60 yards. But yeah, it casts well, it retrieves well. I think it's just a matter of finding the pike, and we will have them.
2 hours later.
Well, I've been fishing for a good couple of hours now. I've fished in dozens and dozens of different spots and probably hundreds and hundreds of casts with not so much as a follow. So the fishing has been pretty grueling so far, but I have done enough pike trips like this in the past where you get pretty despondent, you think nothing's going to happen, it's dead all day, and then suddenly the last hour or so of the trip, you come across some pike and it turns your session around. So hopefully that's what's going to happen today. But I have been able to test this rod and reel pretty extensively on its casting capabilities, and it's still holding up absolutely fine. The only thing I would say is that the braid I've got on this reel is probably a bit too thick for it, but I wanted to have nice strong braid just in case I do come across some pike or get caught on snags and things. I don't want to leave anything behind. I want to be able to pull for a break and have something nice and strong and robust. So that's the only negative. The rest of it is doing exactly what it needs to. The rod is perfect for little underarm flicks left and right. I'm only fishing quite narrow river here and sort of the drains, which are a bit like a canal. So for that sort of fishing, this is absolutely perfect. The lures are quite light, but they're still casting the distance I need to on this. And I really do like the movement of these in the water, as I've already mentioned. All those hinge points on them means that when you flick the rod, just give it a little twitch, it really does spurt like a fish that's injured, and it does this up and down. So I am sure that if I come across some pike, they won't be able to resist it because they look good, they're coming through the water like an injured fish. I just got to find them, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So I think I'm going to start making my way back to the car, have some lunch, and then move on to another spot and hit it hard again for the afternoon. Lunch break over, I headed back out to cover as much ground as possible once again, yet the closest I came to a hit was from a heron whilst flying the drone.
Whoa! Where on earth did that heron come from?
Bum muscles well and truly flex after that close call. I continued to cast and retrieve as surely a pike would slip up eventually. However, despite spooking multiple jacks with my heavy-footed approach, I didn't even get so much as a follow. So as the sun began to set, I had no choice but to accept defeat on day one. The following 2 days continued in the same fashion, hundreds and hundreds of casts with nothing to show for it. One missed hit was the closest I came. It didn't take, but I've just had my first hit in 3 days. Despite how difficult the fishing was being, I simply refused to end this video without a fish, so I pleaded for help on my Instagram story, and thankfully dozens of you locals helped me out with spots to try. So on day 4, backed up with local knowledge, I was going to catch one. after 4 days, and we're gonna get it in. That is one of the smallest pike I've ever caught. But my days, do I feel amazing to have caught one. Weight off my shoulders. Yes! But it may not be the biggest. It's certainly the biggest smile on my face. I know I say things like that quite a lot on camera, but I really do mean it. I love my fishing. Doesn't matter what the species, and after 4 days, this is the 4th day of trying for pike, to finally get one, it just means the world. The conditions are way better today. It's cloudy, I got here before sunrise, and it's paid off. May only be 3 or 4 pounds, but it's a fish that I've been after all week. Hopefully, more today. I'm not gonna get greedy, because this is all I was after. But happy days, look at that. You've never seen a pike before. This is what they look like, a bit more up close. Beautiful coloration. But I'm super happy with that. Let's slip him back, and hopefully, get something a little bigger today. And this is where things took a little turn for the worse. Morning.
Morning.
You alright?
Can I see your licence, please?
My rod licence
No, your licence for fishing here.
is the... Yeah, I'm allowed to.
Huh?
Why?
With it.
I haven't seen that. I came through that fence there with no signs on it.
I know you did. You jumped the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you normally jump fences in fields? Or do you use gates?
On the sunset levels, yeah, because there's hundreds
Well,
of
don't
them.
be so lazy. If you use gates, you know you shouldn't come in.
Okay.
Right? So pick up, hop it.
Is there a reason you've come over so defensive? Because I've not...
Yes, I have, because I've had to bloody well walk. You're disturbing my breakfast hour. I started early this morning.
How am I disturbing it? I'm just... No, I'm being civil here.
Poacher, you're trespassing.
But
You
how...
have no licence, no permission.
You've got no friends!
Get out.
I have got licence,
You
thank
have
you.
not for here, it's private.
Yeah,
It
but...
always has been for the last 50 odd years. Get out.
I'm-
You're trespassing, you're on private
Okay.
property.
I'm not raising my voice with
No,
you.
don't.
Well, I haven't. You're raising your voice at
Don't
me.
jump my fence either.
Okay.
Get out.
Oh, all right.
Well, hurry up.
No, I'll go at my own pace.
Right, well, I'll bloody well help you.
Do not take my property.
Get out.
I am, if you let me take my time.
Out about you're taking your time. I'll help you. I ain't got all day, I gotta work. Get up.
I am.
Right, come on. I want at least a cup of tea if I don't get nothing else.
No, sorry, I'm right, careful, because there's sharp hooks there, and that's my camera bag. Can you please? Look, I've stayed calm with you.
No.
You are touching a very expensive property here. I'm sorry I've come on here.
Very expensive plans. Get out.
A few moments later.
I apologise if this is private property.
Your apology.
Well,
I shouldn't have to come out.
I've not fished it before.
146 acres, and you fishermen always
And-
want to
and
go where you ain't welcome.
I am. I'm talking to you, having a discussion.
Get out. I want to go.
Well, go then. I'm going now, aren't I?
I ain't going till you leave it, please.
Well, I appreciate you being...
Breakfast. I'll be lucky if I have a cup of tea.
Oh,
Get home.
boo-hoo you. I'm sorry you've had such a poor start to your day.
14 hours down. I don't need shit like you coming in.
Have a good day. Having now been politely educated on what the correct side to fish the river was, I got back on the hunt for another pike. Several hours passed once again, however, without so much as a knock, so keeping mobile was key. Half a dozen casts in a location before walking or driving to the next likely looking spot. Eventually, it all came good again.
Out of nowhere.
And four.
Smash that. Got a tail walk again.
Oh, cast that one down under the bridge. As it's coming back, I couldn't even see it. Just smacked it. I thought it hit the wall or something. Don't know. Slightly bigger than the first one. Happy days. Result. So I've just moved multiple times again today. And just come to one likely looking spot under a bridge. I've actually made multiple casts, nothing. And decided to stick the main camera on just to get a nice B-roll of me casting in this location. And it was that cast that this one off. Bigger than the first one. Probably pushing the, I'd say, £8 mark this one. So still not huge, but very welcome all the same. Lovely colorations. And this one actually came on a change of lure. Came on the more colourful one. So there we go. A result worth moving around, keeping mobile. You will get amongst them eventually. Brilliant. And that's a wrap. Finally, after 4 days of trying for pike, we finally got 2. And it's a massive thank you to a lot of you guys that follow me on social media. I poured my heart and soul out on it last night saying I am at a loss as to how I get a pike for this video. And loads of you came up trumps with some spots to try. So I probably wouldn't have caught anything today if it wasn't for you guys. Also, the conditions were much better today, I'm not going to lie. But it was massively down to you guys that I caught something today. And I'm going to leave it at 2. I may continue fishing into the afternoon without the cameras, but I've really enjoyed myself. And what do I actually think of all this equipment? Well, it's the third Temu video that I've done, and previously I may have bought some jokey items, things that I kind of know aren't going to be up for the job. But for this one, I decided to really go down the route of this is dedicated kit for the style of fishing I'm doing. And I'm yet to find any of the items I've got that haven't done the job. I've really, really liked the lures. The way that they swim in the water looks amazing. It's hard to get it on camera and capture it, but all the little different flicks you do with this rod and with the braid, it really does mimic an image, a damaged fish or an injured fish. It sort of flicks around, flutes up, goes down. So I love the way that these swim through the water. And I've had one on the roach lookalike, and the second one today was on the one that's more luminous green, orange belly, and I guess slightly more birchy colours, but a bit more in their face. And both of them absolutely engulfed the bait. So they've been really enjoying the little baits. The reel, really, really impressive as well. It's stood up to what it needs to do. I mean, I'm not joking when I say I've probably done over 1,000 casts in the last 4 days. And the rod hasn't flinched once in anything I've asked it to do. The reel has been absolutely fine. The braid has pulled my kit back from the odd tree or bramble I've cast into. So everything here has done exactly what it needs to. The net, of course, I haven't been able to try because the bank spin on wouldn't have been useful for that, and it's a bit small for the pike I've been trying. The hook mats come up trumps as well, using that a couple of times. But I think the best thing out of it all has got to be this little waistcoaty jacket thingy that's got everything I need is within here. If it wasn't for the fact, like I said, that I'm carrying camera kit around with me all the time, this is everything and more. Like, I haven't really touched some of the lures in here. The terminal tackle, I've not broken anything, so a lot of this has just been sat there in case, not really needed. So I would highly recommend, if you're looking for something like this for perch fishing, pike fishing, just traveling like roving, and maybe even really lightweight carp fishing, have a look at these. It really is very good. And don't forget, use the coupon code that's coming up on your screen on Temu, as I showed you how to do it earlier, for £100 worth of coupons. And that is everything from me. Please subscribe to me if you haven't done so already. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Sorry, carry on. It's my fault for setting up on a road.
Seen any kingfishers this morning?
Yeah, a couple of times. He's been up and down quite a lot.
Oh, well, that press.
Whoa.